Same old, and we're talking about...
Yes, we're talking about veggies because we have the wonderful Chef Stacey Dougan from Simply Pure in downtown Container Park. She is a badass, and you are going to love her episode. But before we get to Stacy, we're going to go to pandemic provisions.
Yes, provisions.
And we're talking about vegetables. So I am going to say that my favorite vegetable is the eggplant. And it is actually a nightshade. So it's like a fruit, and it's not really a vegetable, even though we all call it a vegetable. It has seeds, therefore it is a fruit. But my one fun fact about it is that people in the UK actually call the eggplant an aubergine. Aubergine. And that goes back to like ancient Indian Sanskrit, the word aubergine. And the origin of eggplants is actually from India. So people in India, they refer to the eggplant as the king of all vegetables. And I agree with them. And I love Indian food. Yours is also a nightshade.
Yes. We're going to talk about like tomatoes.
Tomatoes.
Every tomato has like a different flavor profile. But interestingly enough, do you know that tomatoes are actually better for you when they are cooked?
No, I did not know that, because you would think that in the raw sense that it would retain more nutrients.
So when they're cooked, it actually breaks down some of the enzymes in it and actually turns that into antioxidants that are better absorbed by your body. There's a slight decrease in vitamin C content. But I mean, who turns to tomatoes for vitamin C anyway? It's the default is orange. But tomatoes are actually better for you and more antioxidant rich when they are cooked.
Well, that's good news for pizza and lasagna and all that amazing Italian stuff that
Pasta!
So we're going to move on to Stacey Dougan. All right, Louie, we have the fabulous owner of Simply Pure Vegan in downtown Container Park. Hello, Chef Stacey Dougan. How are you?
I am doing so well. Thank you for asking. Everything, I'm doing well. I'm sleepy. I'm excited. I'm like tired. Because we've been really busy, thank goodness. And so we've been just trying to adjust to the balance. I've been trying to adjust to the balance of being busier from being so slow, due to COVID, and then balancing that and, motherhood and all that stuff. So it's been a whirlwind, but I am doing really well.
So the past couple of weeks, you've been very outspoken about the Black Lives Matter movement. And it's important to us, and we know it's important to you. So we want to talk to you about why it's especially important right now to amplify Black voices and to emphasize Black-owned businesses.
I can't speak for all Africans throughout the diaspora, but I will say for African Americans, because that's my experience, is that it's been very difficult in the past to not just like for me with the hurdles of being like an African-American woman that some people may think may be hurdles, but more so me just constantly seeing my brothers and sisters killed in the street. This is something that's not new to our culture, and so it's something that's new to the world now, of course. But the importance is because, look, this has been happening to our people for so long, and we've adjusted our culture around dealing with these types of things. And out of that has come like food and dance and music and all these things that have been just a beautiful part, I feel, of a 400-year resistance that's just now accumulating into something great and beautiful. So with that being said, the importance now is greater than ever because there's so many Black creatives that don't have voices that are now have the capacity to speak out, a lot of support. I'm super thankful for the allies from other cultures and other races that have come to, like, I just say our aid, because we can't do this by ourselves. Clearly, we've tried to, stand up to the police and things, and it's just always overlooked. And so I'm just super thankful to be a Black-owned business and to be an example.
You started a program called Buy One, Gift One.
Yeah.
And talk to us about that and your partners Live to Give and Food Not Bombs.
Everybody was talking about Vegas like they were talking about New York and LA, because it was historical. The Strip had never shut down before. So my cousin called. He's like, hey, I heard about all the layoffs and things that happened. He said, and I want to help you because I know you were affected. So I'm going to send you some money, and I want you to take, whatever meals and give it to whoever, needs a meal. So basically what happens is we have a meal prep service. So outside of the restaurant, we have a completely different menu that you can go to and order weekly meals. And we've been doing that since January. It's just now starting to pick up, especially during COVID, because nobody was going out to eat. So, our meal prep picked up. And so every time someone purchases a meal through the meal prep, then we donate a meal to either a family or individual who needs it. So our Food Not Bombs came about because they are an organization. They were already giving out meals and things to the homeless community here. And, the homeless community increased after everything shut down. So that was a really great partnership. And they really focus on plant-based foods, giving away, healthy meals. And so that was a really great partnership. And in addition to that, I worked with them already, but it had been like probably 6 or 7 years ago. So I was already familiar with the organization, and I knew they were doing great work. And then with Live to Give, so they actually have a teacher. They do a lot to support teachers in the Clark County School District. Angel and Leticia run that program, Live to Give. And we started a chef inspirations program in September of last year, where I would go into the Clark County School District and I would go to different elementary schools and teach plant-based cooking. So I was doing that every month, starting September of last year. And my last class was actually March 10th, and I had 50 students in that class. That was the max, because the program had gotten so popular. So we had a waiting list of teachers who wanted their students to become involved, and I would go in and teach hands-on class, and I was full of energy. And I got a kid too. Sometimes I would bring him, and it was just really fun. And the students would be able to taste the food, and it was like stuff that they could get. We would focus on the lower income, schools, because I knew that they were the ones that had, Black and brown people, need access to healthy food, and these kids need to learn, but they need to be exposed to plant-based cooking. And so I would use things not from like Whole Foods and all these exotic, ingredients. I would just use like avocado, stuff that they could get from Smith's or Albertsons. So it's not so out the box, so we did some really creative cooking on, hands-on cooking things with them. It was a lot of fun. Unfortunately, the school shut down. And when the school shut down, I was like, okay, a lot of these kids depend on the school system to eat. So what's happening here, And so we partnered with Live to Give, and what they did was they went out and they got in contact with the teachers, and the teachers got in touch with the families that they knew needed, meals. And then we give the meals to them as well.
How did you get into this? Were you vegan right away, or
actually,
vegan by birth?
That's a good question. So, we can be on this podcast all day talking about like my background is actually in music and entertainment. So 20 years ago, I did artist development for Universal Music Group. So I was specifically doing marketing for MCA Records. So that's my background, is like, I'm a music fanatic. I interned at Virgin Records, like I worked at record stores. It's like, I am into it. And so at that time I was making a lot of money. I was young, I was like 23, something like that. And some friends at the time wanted to open a raw vegan restaurant in Atlanta. I was living in Atlanta at the time. And I was like, a what? I knew what vegan was. I didn't know what raw was. And so they were explaining it to me. And the entrepreneur in me was like, and they were like, yeah, it's nothing, that's, the food is nothing. When you have a raw diet, just so everybody knows what raw is, none of the food is heated over 115 degrees or 100 like that. So that means that you maintain all of the enzymes and nutrients in the food. So they had this concept where they wanted to open up this raw vegan restaurant. So I had never done it before. And so I was really just going to be an investor. So I went ahead and opened up this. We went ahead and opened up this restaurant, and so I had to work inside the restaurant. And literally, it was like blood, sweat, and tears. It was crazy. So that's how I learned, like on the job, literally on the job training, figuring it out. And the restaurant was amazing, actually. And I had little, people that came in and helped me with different recipes to try to figure it out. Like I didn't just learn on my own. I was at that time, 20 years ago, it wasn't a lot on the internet. It was like literally I was just figuring it out, buying raw books and, trying different things.
We learned that you're originally from Atlanta, and I discovered that you used to develop wellness services for entertainers, and as you were talking about in the music industry, and we read some of those names: Common, Erykah Badu, Andre 3000. Yes. What was that like?
So it was so interesting because Atlanta back in the day I was in Atlanta when like Outkast, their first album dropped in '94, and I started college. So I went to Spelman College in Atlanta. It's a historically Black college. Yes. And I started Spelman in '94. So I'm telling my age. I'm 44. And so that was just during a time, I just happened to be there during a time when Atlanta was just starting to boom in the music industry, and it wasn't saturated, and everybody was just in it, and it was fun, and it was new and fresh, and from that came, India Irie, came Ludacris, I used to see all those guys. So when I had the restaurant, it wasn't a big deal at that time for Common to come, because Common wasn't as big as Common is now. This was 20 years ago.
It was Common.
Common was Common.
It was Common, was right.
Common was Common.
He's still the same gracious, but I had a chance to see him last year. I went to his show and I had a chance to go backstage and meet him and see him again, or meet him again. And I reminded him, but of course he wouldn't remember, we did him like 20 years ago, but it was super awesome. And Erykah, same thing. And Andre, so Andre's actually been to my restaurant. It was so funny, the one 20 years ago when he came in. So I am an Andre fan. He's like one of the greatest just people, period. And when he came into the restaurant, I was kind of tripping, I was like, oh my gosh, Andre's here, because he dropped his first album in '94. I think I opened up the restaurant. It was, by that time, it was like 99, 2000. So he was already Andre at that point, especially in Atlanta. And he came in and he had eaten there before, and he was like, are you the owner? And I was like, yeah. He said, how did you learn how to make all this? And I was like, I don't know, I just figured it out.
So speaking of people that are super famous coming to your restaurant, we saw some really cool pictures. You had Senator Cory Booker from the great state of New Jersey at your restaurant with Rosario Dawson, of all things.
Yes. They were, I don't know if they're still together, but they were a great couple.
And then, of course, how could we miss this? President Bill Clinton at your restaurant, and he was all holding your hand and stuff. Yeah. What was that like?
He's such and that's so funny. Like, everybody who's really come to the restaurant really has been genuine just about helping us and really being concerned. And I have to say that for President Bill Clinton. So, funny story, not funny. It's funny now, but it wasn't funny then. I'll tell you really quickly how that came about. And I literally got a call. So during that time, I was about to close. I had gotten an eviction letter from Container Park saying that I had to vacate. And naturally so, because I couldn't pay the rent. It was just one of those things. You're an entrepreneur, you're trying to figure out. I had a son. I was raising him solo. At that time, he was like 2. It was just a lot going on. And so, they sent me a nice eviction notice via email saying that I had to vacate. This was President's Day weekend. And I was like very distraught about it, of course, because I had been open 2 years. I didn't want to close. And I just really, honestly, what I did was I just gave it to God. I was like, look, if this is what you would have, the will that you have for my life, then I can just always go back to being a personal chef, going into people's homes. So that's what I was doing before, when I was working from open to close. So it was around noon, and we were unusually busy that day. And somebody from Hillary's camp called. And I thought they wanted me to just vote for Hillary. So I was like, look, I don't have time. Y'all gotta call me back. And so I didn't know what they were calling for. I really thought they were calling. That time you're getting all those calls, like, vote for Hillary.
Yeah. Right.
I'm busy. So they came. So they sent somebody to the restaurant that night. I was and they were like, "Hey, is Chef Stacey here?" I peeked my head around the corner. By that time, I had another employee. I peeked my head around the corner, and they're like, "Can we talk to you outside?" And so I talked to them, and they're like, "Yeah, Bill Clinton wants to come in here tomorrow." And I'm like, "Yeah, right."
You're like,
right.
yeah,
Right.
sure.
Right. And they're like, "Yeah, he wants to come in tomorrow." They kind of gave me a brief synopsis of what happened. And they were like, "You can't tell anybody. You can't tell Container Park Management. You can't tell your parent, your nobody." I told my mom. And I told my business partner. She wasn't here. She actually wasn't here, living here at the time. And so, he came the next day. And it was amazing. And it changed the trajectory of my business overnight, literally. Just by me giving it, I really give that up to like God, though, and the universe and that whole, I'm really into that, because once I let it go, then God was like, "Okay, let me show you what I can do," and I just stepped out the way. I'm like, "The president? Really?"
Yeah.
Okay, it was cool. So he's a beautiful spirit. And then so what most people don't know is that every time he came to Vegas, then he would order from us. He would send Secret Service and somebody to come pick up the food. And Hillary Clinton, one time, she ordered so much food from us, we had to shut down for like an hour because we couldn't order. Yeah, it was like, it literally changed the trajectory of our business. So I'm forever thankful. And yeah, that was amazing. We've had some crazy stuff just happen in that little 288 square foot space.
Yeah, what a great story. That's one that you're gonna share as grandkids and stuff.
That's how it happened. Yep. And then later on that year, I actually moderated a panel with the President, Bill Clinton, and about 30 other African American business owners here in Las Vegas. That was in October, because they were coming here just trying to get people to rally up, of course, for the election in November. And I was able to moderate that panel with him. And he knows me, which is crazy.
Yeah.
There's a talk, so we were talking behind the scenes, and he's like, "How you been? How's everything?" He's like, "I'm going to get my nachos afterwards." I'm like, this is the president telling me that he's coming to get nachos after I moderate.
Mind-boggling, right?
Like, okay,
it's like,
I'm ready.
First name basis.
Yeah, exactly. Whatever. Let's get it going.
We want to hear more about 4 and 20.
Yeah.
So tell us what that is and if it's coming back.
Yeah, so 4 and 20 is a fine dining dinner experience that was created by a couple of friends of mine. And my business partner, McKinney, of course. And what it is 4, it stands for 4 courses, 20 guests. And so it's a cannabis-infused fine dining dinner experience. We were just doing CBD, but we were doing it once a month. It would be at a secret location. We would charge, a certain amount of money. I think it was $90. We would charge a ticket. We would always sell out because it's only 20 seats. It's very exclusive. We would only have it at like really private, intimate spots in Vegas. And the only people that knew about it were the people that you wouldn't know about it until the morning of, like, where the event was taking place. So it was amazing. And we really, no cameras, no phones. We wanted everybody to enjoy the experience. And so all of the courses, there were 4 courses, and all of the courses were infused with CBD or cannabis. And there were themes to the courses. So one theme we had was of the elements. So there was fire, water, earth, and air. And I created a dish centered around those four dishes, those 4 courses, or those 4 elements. We did a music theme one time where we had the music. I chose 4 songs that had food in the title, and I created a dish around that. And then we would serve, and this is fine dining, so we have servers coming, laying the plates down, picking them up, and then the song would play as the dish was being served, and I would come out and introduce each course. It was fire. Like, it really was.
Yeah.
The reason why we stopped it was because I didn't have a team behind it. So it was me and my business partner, McKinney, doing everything. It's way too much. So are we bringing it back? Absolutely.
So since we're talking about that, we're going to move on to Chef Show and Tell.
Show and Tell.
We're pretty excited about this because I know for a fact we've never seen this before. What do you got for us, Chef Stacey?
I
bet you.
Here a new toy. This is the magic butter machine. Oh my gosh, wait.
Whoa.
Magical butter machine. Can you guys see it? Okay, there's
Do you know what it looks like?
Magical butter machine. So this is, like I said, I started making edibles. Cannabis edibles, for those who, are not following us all the way. Those weed edibles. But really experimenting more with the oil and how I can get the oil, because I want to do something really healthy. Like I'm trying to do tinctures and oils and things that people take medicinally, because I believe in the healing power of this plant. That's the only reason why I'm so adamant about, or I'm so involved in it. I'm investing, in it. So the magical butter machine is, you want me to hold it up again here?
Yeah. Like, show it to us how it works.
So what it does is,
it looks like a tofu maker, actually.
Here it is. This is how, and this is the inside. Basically,
okay.
You put your flour in here, you put this here, you set a bunch of buttons, and it makes the oil for you. So, because traditionally, if you make oil traditionally, you have to do it on the stove. You have to monitor the temperature, the whole thing. This monitors the temperature and the time. So literally, I can do it and go to sleep.
And then it agitates it.
Yeah, it does. See?
Wow. So it's like a circulator, a sous vide circulator.
Exactly.
Like
and
enclosed.
Temperature and time regulated.
Yeah.
And you can do tinctures and oil out of this. So I'm going to start doing tinctures as well. So yes, I got you. Like I've only used it once, honestly, because I've been doing it the old-fashioned way, it takes up a lot of time.
Yeah.
So what other applications apart from like tinctures and oils? What else can it do?
That's all it does. I think it's tinctures and butters.
Okay, butters.
And they do, what, I have to look at the only thing I was interested in doing was the tinctures and the oils. I can do butters because I'm doing all vegan. So
right.
In butter, but I'm not sure about that because there's a lot of hydrogenated oils. I'm really trying to keep it, nice and clean. So I'll be doing olive oil. I'll be doing coconut oil. I've already done coconut oil. And I'll be doing tinctures, like with alcohol tinctures.
Yeah, that's so awesome.
So
right, I know.
Cool. I love
that is so unique. It's so unique, and I bet you will never run into anybody who's going to bring the magical butter machine.
Maybe a couple of people that I don't know anybody here that has it, but then I don't talk to a lot of people about, not a lot of people know that I make oils and stuff, and I really just do it, at home.
All right, it's our favorite time. 60 seconds, rapid fire questions. Louie, get your timer ready.
It's ready.
And go. Your quarantine comfort food.
Ice cream.
Cat or dog person?
Dog.
Sativa or indica?
Sativa.
Best binge-worthy show?
Woo! Oh goodness, let's see. I don't know. I don't watch shows. I'm the worst person to ask. Blackish? I don't know. I
love that show. That's a great choice.
That's a good
one. Dream place to travel and eat?
Bali, Thailand, that area.
Ooh, it's wonderful. Have you been?
No.
Childhood food craving?
Peach cobbler.
That's a good one.
That's a good one.
Yes, peach cobbler. It's hard to get a good one. My business partner makes a good one.
What's your favorite veggie from a vegan?
Broccoli. I could eat broccoli every day. Well, are we talking about like green vegetables? Or are we talking about like starchy vegetables? Because I love potatoes. My favorite vegetable is potatoes.
All right, whatever you like.
I'm a potato. I can eat a potato any kind of way. It doesn't matter. I can eat baked potatoes every day. I love French fries. That's my vice. Yes. Yeah. But like my favorite green vegetable is probably broccoli. I like that a lot.
Most inspiring kitchen music?
That's a big one for you.
Yeah.
It's a big one. Right now, or probably St. John. I've been on him a lot lately. You heard of him?
No, I haven't.
Wait till I put you on to St. John.
Please.
Oh,
we love when people put us on to new music.
Yeah.
I got into Little Dragon because of Chef Gina, so I'm super excited about
Yes.
Do it. Last thing, your dream job. Or are you in it?
Yeah, I'm in my dream job. You know what I want to do next? I would like to be married and be a wife.
All right.
Oh.
Right. Yeah.
That's true. That's true.
Yeah, because I've done a lot in my life, but I've never been married and like had that like home thing where your husband comes home and you're like, oh, I cook for you. You know what I'm saying? Like, I would like to do that. So that's my dream job. That's the next dream job. But as far as like working in my profession, like I love my profession. I want to get back into the music somehow, some way. So and blend the two, but we're there. We're there. I think things are coming along pretty good. So
find a way. We'll definitely find a way because I'm still trying to find my way to blend my two professions in this podcast is the baby, actually. So yeah.
This is great. Thank you for the platform. Seriously, I appreciate it.
No worries.
All right.
No worries.
Speaking of the platform, let's go ahead and sell it. Stacey Dougan, sell it anything you want.
Anything I want. You know what I want to sell? I don't even want to sell the restaurants. People, we've been around a while, and I, again, want to always express my gratitude and appreciation. And that's really what I want to sell. It's like during this time, even though our emotions are all over the place, there's a lot going on. It's crazy times we're living in. But honestly, what's kept me like focused and happy and is just like the love that I have for humanity and the love I have for myself. And just staying focused, staying calm, staying peaceful, positive. So if I could give anybody any kind of something to walk away with, it would be that, because that's something that everybody can apply. Like, you can be nice to somebody. You can think a good thought instead of, thinking a bad thought. I know it's hard sometimes, but I meditate a lot as well. Like, well, not a lot. I meditate once a day for 15, 20 minutes, but it helps clear my mind so that I can receive, from the universe and really just flow with things. So if I could leave anything, it would be just like, do your best to just maintain your happiness and your peace, especially during this time, because it's going to work out.
Positive vibes your way, and
Exactly.
also good thoughts for, whatever you need to kind of focus and get that dream of yours to have like a husband to cook for.
Right, I know.
It out into the universe for you.
Sending on and publicly saying that, are you accepting applications for a husband? So a shameless plug on this show right now.
Oh, you know what? I may as well start. Like, I haven't. It's funny because so you can imagine my son. You've seen him. He's 5.
Yeah.
The restaurant is 6 years old. So
wow. You've been busy.
I've been busy. For the past 5 or 6 years, I haven't really dated. I haven't really done anything. So now I'm like, he's older. He can take care of himself. He can make a bowl of cereal. I can go out. So yeah.
Yeah. All right. Swipe right on Stacy.
Right. It's time for a husband. All over
Thank you so much.
Somebody can call Nick Cannon for me.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah. That's true. Awesome.
Thank you so much, Chef Stacey Dougan, Simply Pure. Nice to see you.
Thank you all. I appreciate you all. Have a good one.
Thank you.